I believe the cross-pollination of different ideas and approaches is at the heart of creativity. Hello, I'm Todd Cochran, pianist, composer, electronic musician, and conceptual artist. I was born and raised in San Francisco. Both my parents had professional careers. My father, a businessman in the automobile industry, and my mother was an accountant. Their passion, however, was music. Music, music, and more music. They were deep listeners, and we had a family tradition of going to concerts together. They also taught me about writers, poets, and thinkers in a way that sparked my lifelong love of the arts. I was raised in a household where Bach and Stravinsky, Duke Ellington and Mahalia Jackson, Anton Chekhov, and Zora Neale Hurston were equally appreciated and celebrated. And this rich mix of culture was the atmosphere of our home. I recognized that for me to receive this wide-ranging orientation to the arts was a tremendous gift, and I'll always thank my parents for introducing me to things that sparked my curiosities. They encouraged my interest and freed me to ask questions. My growing up years were also shaped by a much larger reality, which was the intensity of the civil rights movement in America. It was the critical time and dangerous moment of confronting and deconstructing racial and social political inequities. It was my connecting to the arts and living through this dynamic period and seeing courageous, passionate people making inroads to real change that shaped my unending concern for the human condition. And it's the human condition that's the centerpiece of everything that I do, musically and creatively. Being in San Francisco at the time when it was the center of the Cultural Revolution had a lot to do with what I was exposed to. It left an imprint on me. I was surrounded by amazing sounds and voices, but more importantly, it showed me the concept of we and what we collaborating on an idea means, and how important it is to acknowledge the truth of others. In my career, I've been fortunate to be involved in a number of musical camps and genres. From my years of piano training and roots in classical repertoire to finding my voice in jazz. As a synthesis and electronic musician in England, working and recording with rock artists, working in television and film, and also producing, I bring these experiences to what I do as a contemporary composer and musician creating what I call art music. Meeting and hearing the duo ensemble DarkWood, Laura Grantier, clarinets, and Lynn Vartan, mallets and orchestra percussion, was a joy for me. Right away, I was taken by the uniqueness of their pairing. The instrumentation, the openness, the boldness, the poetics, and especially the individualism. And it's the beauty of the music they make together that has to be experienced. And yes, also, they're a girl band. My interest in writing a piece for them was piqued. Things that come forth and are revealed when you tune into a whisper are usually meant for us to pay attention to. Some call it the unexpected detour, that unmapped tributary of the stream that leads to an awaiting treasure. You have to dig for it. For me, it transported my thoughts to the imagery of the ring, that sense of being a part of an encircling thing that connects all and everything. Within the ring, there's no inside or outside. There just is. So you listen to the messages, all of them. We create worlds with the thoughts we transmit. I took words and phrases and ideas from our conversations and made a music map. From this came the composition. Women, strong women, have been essential figures and a constant presence in my life. Authority figures, comrades, nurturers, explainers. They are the essence of the we when I think about important cornerstones of my life. Out of the structure of the music map came the concept, the ring around the world. This composition, The Ring Around the World, is my homage to women. Women in blue, the blue planet, Mother Earth, the mother lode of inspiration, the mythical, the mysterious, and magical.
Pleasure to do the world premiere of this piece that we are so passionate about. We would love to thank Southern Utah University and the University of Utah for their support of this project. And most importantly, to Todd Cochran, who we adore. Thank you so much for this beautiful music. And thank you all for being here and listening. We'll be playing 3 movements of the work for you. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. And we're just really excited to play the rest of the piece. Thank you so much.
And enjoy the second video.
To speak a little about my experience with the instrumentation of DarkWood, I played with Bobby Hutchison, great vibraphonist and marimba player, and wrote an album for him on Blue Note Records titled Head On. I also have a very close relationship, long friendship with Benny Maupin, who's well recognized from his work on Miles Davis's seminal album, Bitches Brew, and also his work with Herbie Hancock. And I have been a synthesist and electronic musician for many years in quite a few settings, and the opportunity to bring all of these elements together has just been a wonderful experience. It's really transported me into another area of music making. And so I thank DarkWood for this opportunity. Intimations. This movement of the piece is about hints and clues and the intuitive flow of thought and peering into the future with a sense of what's to come. It's about the idea of the loss of youth and how age causes us to lose sight of the marvelous, to lose sight of what's beautiful beyond words. It's also about the idea that the soul existed before the body. And I'm also thinking about how innocence connects children to the ability to see the divine in nature, which we tend to lose as we grow older. This is Intimations. Heroine. The heroine, like the artist, has to cultivate the state of being alone, not in some idyllic setting in the woods or by the sea or on a quiet lake, but the aloneness of recognizing the force of a purpose. The aloneness is necessary for realizing and inhabiting one's true identity, rather than assuming a traditional identity that society places on you. The change in the female experience has everything to do with transcending traditional identities. The heroine deals with aloneness, and then she delivers her gifts to those she loves. And on a larger scale, she gives and transmits to the world. And those who hear are transformed. In this movement, the heroine becomes the myth. She introduces herself with a single melodic thought. That melodic thought is shared by the marimba and the bass clarinet. This becomes an act of joining. The tonality of the piece is the Aeolian mode. The Aeolian mode, some associate with the blues and the blues scale because of the emotional energy that's released with the flatted intervals. However, the flatted intervals of the Aeolian mode create a different affect, an ambiguity, which reminds us of the instability of the world we occupy. The heroine embodies the consciousness of humans and contributes to our dreams for a better reality. The insistent image, mother. Being a mother is an art form. Woman in blue, the blue planet, Mother Earth, the mother lode, a child in the eyes of a mother. Having a grandmother, an aunt, a teacher, an intuitive female presence in my life have everything to do with who I am. I see the female as central to the global messaging of music and as a force in social evolution. I think about the thread of the feminine spirit and then the structural aspects of mother and what mother means. And these thoughts became the cornerstones of the music itself. I also think about how speech and speech patterns and the delivery of words transform into musical performance art. The insistent image, mother.
Wow. Wonderful piece. What a beautiful piece. I wanted to give you a few minutes to say anything, Todd, about the work and about the process of working with DarkWood, possibly some hints about the other movements.
Surely. It's a wonderful process, actually. It just keeps unfolding. It's really something I could be very descriptive about it, but we don't have time. But it's from we've shared meals together. We've talked. We've shared ideas. One thing that I can say is that the piece, not a note. I had not written a note of the piece before creating the music map, because I went through this whole process of listening to them. Of course, I had seen them, Lynn and Laura perform. But I really do, when I meet different musical artists, I really go into the mode of observing, because I like to really embrace that in what I create and what I write. And so I think about, as I'd mentioned briefly, about speech and speech patterns, which actually goes into the area of phrenology, which are certain sounds that are universal, that all languages, all human beings are capable of producing, but they individualize that. And so that's sort of the process that we went through. Laura and I had an opportunity to play together, and we fleshed out a number of the ideas. In terms of where the piece is going, it begins with a segment of how long is a day. It moves into oceans, and there's some other interwoven concepts that have come together. However, the centerpiece of the work is a poem called Canary, which was written by Rita Dove, who was poet laureate of the United States. And she's just a very, very powerful force, and it's something like I've always referred to the literary and with the music that I make and that I play. And so with the poem Canary, there are a couple of themes moving around. One I have to share is that I had a new associate and friend. We have become fast friends, Lynn Thompson, who is she's a poet laureate of Los Angeles, and she did the recitation of the poem Canary. Within Canary, Rita Dove, the poetress who wrote the poem, she really starts with the metaphor of Billie Holiday, and she talks about the complexity of her life. She really reveals these very intriguing aspects of about the feminine spirit, and within that, she delivers this final message, which is to, if you're not clearly understood, be a mystery. And I think that is something that we all are to a certain degree, and that's pretty much that. I could definitely speak about other areas if you like, Jessica. Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have another session that's started already on YouTube, so I don't want to take away from their performance, but I'm really grateful for your time and organizing this as a live performance is such a wonderful treat for everybody that's here. So Thank you. And we look forward to hearing the remaining movements of the work, and we wish you all well. I'm going to post the link for the next recital that started over on YouTube. Feel free to follow that link over. And if you joined us late, you'll be able to see this session on YouTube shortly. I'll get it up there.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Todd.
Wonderful day. Thank you.
All right, you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.